Welcome to Powering Through Life on the Divas That Care Network. I'm your host, Teresa Sims, and I'm a transformational life coach, an award-winning author, and a multiple #1 best-selling co-author. Each week on Powering Through Life, my guests and I will discuss a special topic that is close to their heart. Together we will explore the challenges they have faced in life and learn what strategies and tools they have used to power through their lives. So welcome to Powering Through Life.
Today my guest is a dear friend of mine, Shelley. And Shelley is an advocate for small business and is passionate about helping new entrepreneurs, which I happen to know she's exceptional at. She believes in supporting local business and their communities. In addition to her work as a coach, Shelley co-owns Revived Interiors in Victoria, BC, specializing in high-end countertop and cabinet resurfacing for residential and commercial settings. Shelley, I'm so glad we got to do this. Welcome to Powering Through Life.
Thank you, Teresa. I'm so excited to be here. I know this has been a little bit of a time coming. You and I have been talking about it for a little while, and I'm so excited that we're finally making it happen.
Well, you know what? Everything comes in its right time, and I think now is the perfect timing.
I think so, too. This is wonderful. So, again, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you're very welcome. And I love your topic today. It's about following your dreams and facing your fears. Ooh, what a interesting topic. So let's dive right in. Go ahead. So tell us how you deal with fear of moving forward once you've decided to follow your dream.
Well, that is the big question. And we have had, I'm not sure if, should I share a little bit of my story so people understand where I'm coming from? Or
absolutely, please do, yes.
So this is what happened to us. Is basically we were going along in our life, and we had all these great plans. My husband was 7 years from retirement, and of course, when we retired, that's when we were going to live the life of our dreams. And unfortunately, that was ripped away from us before we quite got there. And so, in our mid-40s, our early 40s, we then had to revamp our entire life and come up with a whole brand new plan. So, of course, we had to develop new dreams, and we also had to try to get over the fear of moving forward with those dreams. So this is sort of what launched this whole experience for us, and this is why I'm so passionate now about people following their dreams, because I have learned that if you do not, sooner or later the universe will come along and give you a big kick in the ass. Wake you up. So this has been huge for us. So for us, the biggest thing is just coming up with okay, what is our next step? What is it that we really want? Because isn't that such a challenge to when someone asks you, what is your dream? What is it that you really want? Oh, what do I want? Right? So coming up with that is for us is the biggest thing. But then dreaming up, we'd love to own our own business and we'd love to do this with our life. Okay, well, how do we make that happen? And then, of course, the fear steps in, and it's a completely different lifestyle, something that we're unsure, we have no idea how to move forward with. So for us, the two sort of went hand in hand is, okay, what's our dream? And then getting past the fear to move forward. Mm-hmm. And I think the first step.
I was just going to ask you if you had a process that you went through. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, once I picked myself up off the floor.
Yeah. I mean, your whole world was rocked, wasn't it? Right down to the foundation.
It was so completely pulled out from under us. Oh. So for us, the first step was just getting over that. When you have a job, right, you kind of identify with that. So that becomes a little bit of who you are, and you start identifying with that. And so when all of this is taken away, the first thing that we had to figure out is actually, who are we? And what do we want? So that was a huge, almost like a self-discovery, to sort of ask ourselves, okay, well, without these roles that we've been playing and living for the past 20 years, who are we really? And then to give yourself some space to actually, stop for a moment and think about that. Because you always have this day-to-day life that you're living, and you have these thoughts, and you've got these rules that society puts you under, and this is how it's supposed to play out. This is how you're supposed to behave. This is the next step. So you almost have all the steps. Society set up the steps for you.
Yeah, and
But when those
in our
steps have
busy
changed,
and in our busy lives with everything that we're trying to do and accomplish and survive and everything else, we lose track of, like you say, who we really are as individuals.
and it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get stuck in a rut. You almost stop thinking about it, don't you?
Yes, exactly.
You get stuck in this rut.
Yep.
Oh, I don't have to think. I just have to get up tomorrow and plow through. Especially, you know, with us, we're like, okay, well, retirement, that's when we're going to live our dreams. So we didn't think about anything until we were going to think about it when we got closer to that, right?
Mm.
But all of a sudden, here we are, and we're like, But the beauty part about all of this, the day that I picked myself up off the floor, is I thought, you know, here we are living our life waiting. We're just waiting for this moment, this retirement where we can live our life the way that we want. I'm like, wait a second. The universe is actually just giving that to me a little bit early right now. So I actually have time now to stop and think, what is it that I actually want to be doing? And then what do I need to change in my life, and how can I start moving in that direction?
Brilliant. Yep.
So
What
it's
did
just
you
sort of
come
this
up with?
aha moment. Well, we came up with, Brett had always wanted to own his own business. And so at this point, we thought, you know, why not? Why not? We had, keep in mind, no prior business education. We'd never owned a business. He'd worked in a factory all his life. I'd worked in retail and law. And so we had no idea what was involved in actually running a business. But we did know this. We knew that if Brent ended up doing anything else, he wasn't going to be happy. And after having gone through everything to us, it was way more important to be happy. Money didn't matter. It just, you know what, the only thing that really mattered going forward was happiness. We just wanted to be happy. And so we thought, okay, well, first of all, let's explore this. How are we going to make this happen? Do we have enough money to sort of launch a business? What type of a business are we going to launch? What is our next step? So we kind of explored a few different options. Money did come into it. We only had X amount of money in savings that we were going to be able to apply to a startup. So we looked at a few different options, and Brent chose something that he thought would work for him. The business that we're operating now is actually not our first business. It's our second kick at the can.
Oh.
The first business was, I know, it's a little known, well, some people know, but it's, so the first business that we had was like a lawn maintenance business. And so this is Brent's, yeah, right?
I remember
which
now,
was great
yes.
because, do you remember?
Yes.
But it was great because it was an existing business. And so that was a whole different experience from launching one on our own.
Mm-hmm.
But as you know, it turned out that lawn maintenance is a young man's game. So that one wasn't going to work full time for us.
Yeah. And with the weather being so unpredictable, and with, you know, when you were here in southwestern Ontario, that doesn't work in the wintertime. So
that's right, exactly. Yeah. Yes, it was definitely seasonal. But it was a really great place to cut our teeth on. And kind of dive into, so we kind of, it came in a little bit softly, right? Like we purchasing an existing business, we already had our clients, we already had things set up. So it was a little bit easier having that experience before we launched full into the current business that we are running. Mm-hmm. So I would say it was just a series of tiny steps. Like today, this is what we're going to do, you know, and we get to that step and then the next step. So it's almost like a natural progression, but it's a whole lot of little tiny steps and a whole lot of daily asking, okay, is this the right thing? Is this what should we, you know, what we should be doing? Is this how we should be, you know, moving forward? But, you know, you always know in your instincts, in your gut, right? So every day we're like, okay, no, let's just take this next tiny step and move forward with it.
Exactly. And when you found that you were starting to grow in your steps, how did that change your plans at all?
Well, this is the best part, is when we found that was starting to grow a little bit, all of a sudden our dreams got bigger because we started having confidence in ourselves, right? So just kind of getting over that fear and taking those tiny steps, we're like, oh, wait a second. That worked out okay. Well, that actually felt pretty good. So then our dreams actually started to grow. And we're like, well, maybe we can accomplish this. Maybe we can do this. Maybe So I think that I really do believe that they go hand in hand, and I think it's so important because as you go and your dreams go, the bigger your dreams are, the more afraid you are. And I always think that if you are not afraid of the dreams that you have, you are not dreaming big enough. You need to be hugely afraid of what dreams you have.
I think a certain amount of fear is actually healthy in a lot of ways because it keeps us motivated and it keeps us challenged and it keeps us kind of on your toes and, always looking out for the next way that you can grow as a person and grow your business and keep going.
It's so true. I do. I think it's hugely important. And the satisfaction, the excitement and the passion and all those positive things that come from accomplishing that step that you didn't think you could accomplish.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Like, there's no better feeling. It's almost an addiction once you get going. Like, oh, I did that. Let me try this now.
So that's a healthy addiction. Okay, good.
It's a healthy addiction, yeah. Not any addiction is healthy.
No.
But it is. It's and it really helps boost your confidence, I think. So just the little things are so important, right?
Absolutely. So how did you transition from the lawn maintenance business into what you and Brent are doing now?
Well, what we did at that point was we knew that this wasn't going to be long term. So we ended up selling that business, and we actually took about a year off, and we got day jobs. We went back to work in other roles. Just to kind of refocus. But you know what? Once we'd gone through owning our own business, working for someone else just didn't feel right. It kind of felt like you'd gone through all this excitement and you succeeded and you did something you never thought that you could do, and then you almost took a step backward into an old world. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of when you take that step back and you're like, no, I feel like I've grown and I don't feel like this is the right fit for me anymore. So we took that break, and then when we got into the current business, we were looking for our next business idea. Mm-hmm. And Brent had actually come across this one, and it fit perfectly within his wheelhouse. It's painting, and he'd been a painter for so many years. So we'd met with the individual who was doing something similar, talked to him, and as soon as we walked away from that, we both looked at each other, and we thought, you know what, no, this is it. We're going to make it work. So that was in Toronto. We, of course, were in another area of Ontario, so we were launching this business. We were taking his product and launching it somewhere else. So that was a whole huge thing because when we were coming into that market, nobody had any idea about the product that we were offering. So we were completely introducing something new. We had to train people. We had to train ourselves. We had to actually find clients, whereas our old business, we didn't have to do the networking and the seeking out of clients because it was an existing clientele. So this was a whole new set of challenges, launching a business from the get-go rather than adopting another one. Mm. But again, we just took those small steps. And the biggest thing for me was getting into the networking groups, like just surrounding yourself by people who are like-minded and who support you. That was huge.
That is a big challenge, too, to find the right groups that will actually fit well with you, propel you, motivate you, and at the same time you can contribute back to them as well. And there's so many groups out there, and not all of them are, they're all unique, put it that way.
They are all unique. And you need to be careful, too, the groups that you are getting involved, that you actually align with the people and what the group's intentions are. There's a lot of great groups out there, but they might be more social, where maybe yours is more, you're looking to grow your business.
Yes.
So I would always kind of try to focus in on what is my purpose of attending this group. What am I trying to accomplish? And so there was actually a couple of networking groups that I would be connected in. One of the main ones, and I'm a woman, so I'll speak as a woman, was joining one that was specifically geared towards women. Because a woman will support a woman in a way that nobody else will, because she gets it.
Yes.
It's a whole different can of worms. Women entrepreneurs, it's a whole different can of worms out there. We're still fighting a good fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, that was hugely important.
Yeah, and it is different. I mean, it's good to network with men as well. However,
absolutely,
as the women say, you need your tribe, and a good, solid networking group of women can really be there for you when you really need it, when celebrate your highs, pick you up when you're low, keep you going, just keep you on the ball,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, we have our similar challenges, and it's nice to connect with people who can relate to maybe what you're going through as well, which is important.
Exactly. So Shelley, how did you deal with the people that were around you that were experiencing fear for you because they couldn't relate to what you were doing? I mean, family and friends are awesome and they're there to support you when you're good, but when they don't understand your purpose and your mission and they see this transition, they get scared for you. And how did you the two of you face that?
Now that was a huge challenge. We had an amazing support system, but again, it was none of them had any idea what we were really experiencing or going through, and so of course they were scared for us. So, I think for us, we had to really just acknowledge and appreciate that there was differences there, that they don't know how we feel and they don't know what we're going through. So we're just going to love them and appreciate that their intentions are good, but I ain't giving it any thought. So,
good for you.
I just, right? Because I couldn't. And the other thing is, I had to be very careful with, what I was saying as well, because I didn't want to share my fears with them. Yeah. Those weren't the group of people, because as soon as I had a bad day, they would be there to remind me of my fears, even if I'd gotten over them. So that was not the group of people to share that with.
Good point, because sometimes they're just too close.
They are, and I know that it's coming from a place of love, but right now I need somebody who's going to pick me up and tell me to keep going forward and it's going to be okay and don't stop and don't, so I really need it. And that's where I had, the two groups. I had my core groups, my friends and family who were dear to me and were there for me and I absolutely adore. But then I also had to develop another group of people around me that were like-minded and got the struggles that I was going through at the time. So you almost need to have the support on both sides of that equation. Mm-hmm. You need your comfort support and you also need your moving forward, power through support.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone kind of needs to know that you're in this with them, not to be pitied when you fall down and stumble, but to be picked up, kicked in the rear end, and motivated to keep going because this is your dream, this is what you want, and go for it.
Exactly. Truth, honesty. Oh my gosh, that's just and that would be the thing. People are so delicate too, they don't want to say what they're really thinking or what they're really saying. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, can you just be honest with me? I'm asking you, give me an honest answer. Mm-hmm. I need to hear this. Don't be don't be mean, but don't be kind to say my feelings right now. And that's where I would find that my new group, my new tribe that I was developing would say, okay, hey girl, it's like this. Whereas they were almost treating me with a little bit more delicately. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need, I understand what you're saying, and, when we do have a bit of a fall or a stumble, we do need that, it's okay, it will be fine. But when you ask an honest question, how do you think this is going, and, you're asking because you want their opinion, and if they're not in a comfortable place to give it to you, or they're trying to be too careful, it's not always good because you're not getting that genuine feedback that you need and want.
No, that's so true. You're not getting that, and they're also puts them on the spot because they're I would find with us, people get afraid. They're like, is she trying to sell me something? What is she really? So they are also not quite understanding where I'm coming from, and they're trying to interpret the question or what I'm asking, and when I'm really just asking what it is what it is, but. Yeah. So I find that people would sort of shy away and get afraid. Oh, what is she trying to sell me, or what is she really looking for? So then I would just end up leaving it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ask this other tribe of people that I've surrounded myself with. So,
my goodness.
It's becomes a delicate balancing as to what you share and with whom and when.
Yeah, and it's we shouldn't have to live a life of being so protective and protected and all that sort of aspect. However, it is better when you know the group of people that you're dealing with and you have a good relationship and a good rapport with them, you know which ones you can trust with the dirty, down and dirty, gritty stuff, what you're going through versus the superficial aspect of business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you need all sides of that. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like a lot of good advice or words of wisdom or aha moments have actually come from random people that I would just maybe have spoke to at a networking event or maybe at a restaurant or a stranger or, I think we just need to really be open to the person that's in front of us right now, because you don't know, they might be offering you something or you might be offering them. So a lot of my inspiration has also come from those random moments and just accepting them for what they are and appreciating what I have right now.
Yeah, and that's a good piece of advice, Shelley, is to just live in the moment and just face what you're facing right now, because, tomorrow's something different. Yesterday was what it was.
Tomorrow is.
Yeah, tomorrow is so totally different. But was there when you were building your business and transitioning, was there one key point that you would want to leave the listeners with that you felt was the most important thing to follow through with?
Yes. So the most important piece of advice I can give anybody going through anything is this. It's very simple. It's just keep going. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're trying to figure out, your dreams, your fears, just don't let it stop you. Don't let your fears stop you, and don't keep your dreams small and let that stop you as well. Like that was a big thing for us. I would just get up and, on the hard days, I would say, okay, we'll just keep going. What are you going to do? Like, what can you do? What's in front of you? Okay, that's what you're going to do right now. And then don't worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is a big thing. Yeah.
Well, I know that you, when you were growing this business, you kind of put your dreams and goals on hold, right, like for a short amount of time, so that you could help your husband grow his business and the Revived Interiors business. And how did you feel about that, going through that? I mean, I know you had personal dreams for yourself, but you had a mission. So do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, I do actually. That's actually a really good question, Teresa. It's as a couple, it becomes a little bit of a give and take. And so at this particular moment, I did kind of put my dreams on hold a little bit to help my husband go through this. And I don't want it, it actually was a positive thing. Initially, I was looking at the situation kind of, this is an obligation, this is a responsibility, this is where I need to be. So this is where I'm going to put myself right now. But in the end, the experiences that I learned going through that process actually only helped me motivate and give me courage to move forward with my dream, which is, we know my dream is writing and doing a book. And so I'm working on that. But everything that I went through has actually given me more. So it was what initially kind of felt like maybe a step back. It turned out to actually be one of the greatest decisions I'd ever made. So grateful that, I made that choice. It was also our life, like when it's not like a business partner either where, like my life is separate from my spouse's. This is or for my business partner and my spouse, which was a whole other thing that we had to come to terms with, how to work with your spouse, was another challenge as well for us to overcome. It's a relationship challenge as well.
Yeah, so all of it actually was quite a blessing in disguise in the long run.
Very much so a blessing in disguise. I mean, especially when I look out, I'm moved to Victoria, BC. Like I would have never dreamed a million years that I would be here. And people, of course, thought we were crazy to make that choice again. But the things that we've accomplished, it blows my mind, and it only inspires and encourages me to keep going more and dreaming bigger. And fear, once you kind of get past that, it's so easy to keep moving forward, because you can look back and say, hey, I did it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you that inspiration.
Yeah. I mean, what the two of you have accomplished. I mean, you're still married. You've run a successful business, created one, too, and you're still doing well. You've moved provinces. You're happy. You're content. You're successful. Your writing is coming along. I mean, I'm very, very happy and proud for both of you, because look at the dreams you've accomplished. It's fabulous. And it's all because you both decided to not eat beer for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, and don't let that F word control you. And,
That's
decide.
huge.
Yeah, I mean, it can paralyze. And
It's true. It can paralyze.
Yeah. And why allow that to happen? I mean, we all have moments where, yes, fear does get the better of us, but it's what you do with it. You make that decision, you make that choice, and then you just put it back where it belongs and say, hey, that was then, this is now, tomorrow's going to be another awesome day. Let's plan, and let's keep dreaming, and let's keep going.
That's so true. And I just think it gives you hope. It's like keeping that hope that tomorrow is going to be a better day. Because it doesn't matter. Like, you could be on top of the world, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow you won't have fallen down the mountain part way. Or we all have our ups and downs. And so at every stage, it's always important to remember that, to not let that fear get the better of you, and to move forward and, just keep that hope that tomorrow is going to be better and your dreams are going to be bigger and you're going to be able to accomplish more.
Yeah, exactly, because your dreams are absolutely that. They're your dreams. They don't belong to anyone else. They're yours. So
that's so true.
Yeah, and no one should have a right to tell you whether those dreams are valid or not, or whether you can do them or not, or whether you should do them or not. They're yours, and if it makes you happy, it makes your life fulfilled and gives you happiness, why not? Because as you had mentioned earlier, happiness is the key, right?
Happiness absolutely is the key. There's really nothing more important than being happy. If you can wake up every day and be happy with where you are, I mean, we always want more, of course, but if you can be happy and satisfied with what you have today and where you're going, that's just everything.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're working with your authorship coach, right, Shelley?
Right. That's true.
No, we needed to throw that one in there just slightly, but it's all good, and I am so excited that you're writing again, and that it's working, and because I know there was a time there where it was stuck, but you know what? It probably, like we were talking earlier, it just wasn't the right time.
That's just it. And I think that you need to get to that point too. And I mean, we've gone through so many different ups and downs and challenges, and it really is being in that right space. And it really is a matter of timing as well. So I feel like we've through 3 years, we've been to the island here for 3 years, and I feel like we're now kind of, in a nice phase. Basically, essentially, we had to relaunch our business all over again. We just got to a point in Ontario where we were very successful. So why not just, move to another province and start all over, like you do.
I know, especially when I was ready to do our kitchen cupboards and wanted Brent to do them, and then you guys moved.
Right.
So, but it all works out for a reason. Yeah.
It's so true. So we are in a good place now. I feel like we've relaunched and the business has done well, and we knew what we were doing the second time around. We made it happen much quicker. Where it took us 5 years in Ontario, we did it in 2 in BC. So live and learn, but I'm in such a good place now that I'm able to get back with, a clear mind and a more focused mind to my book and my writing, and I can move forward with what's, back to my dream. I took a little bit of a time out, but the lessons that I've learned and, I mean, the value in my relationships and the person I've become, so the book that I started is not going to be the book that I finish. And I think that's the awesome thing about dreams, is where you start. It may not be where you land, but wow, look where you've come and the journey that you've taken.
Well, that's it. It's all about that, as the story goes, the hero's journey, right? As Kurt Vonnegut puts it, it's all about that journey and living the experiences that go along with that journey and acknowledging all the experiences that happen and, just
which
finding...
is a challenge, because the experiences don't feel like they're necessarily positive. But it's so difficult sometimes to take the ones that really hurt or cause you pain. But if you are able to kind of look at it from a different perspective and kind of change that, then it does help. We've gone through so many different ups and downs, and I'm just grateful for every single one of them, because it's brought us to where we are, and it's made me who I am, and it's brought some really incredible people. It's just completely opened up my world and brought some really amazing people into my life. And I think it's so important that we take that opportunity to share, though, with people.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So would you like to share a little bit about what your book is about, or is that a secret?
Well, it's not a secret because I keep talking about it. I swear people probably think it's never happening. I swear I'm working on it. So, well, basically, I kind of started the book because the experience that we had went through with the business and launching the business, I'm like, oh, there's so many lessons that I've learned. And there are so many people out there like me who don't have the experience or don't have the background or, and have all these insecurities about taking this big dream that looks like it's for somebody else. So that's sort of what launched me writing this book. I'm going to write this book. I'm just going to share that's what I want to do. I'm not going to try to teach anybody anything. I just want to share my experience. Mm-hmm. And so I started out more as a how to launch a business. This was the initial concept, but it's really turned more into living this idea. So the lessons that I've learned in business actually apply to life as well. The different things that I've learned, my experiences. And it's really just a story of, this is who I am. This is what I've experienced. Maybe you can relate to it. Maybe my experience will help someone else get through something, or they will have learned something from my story as well. And I think that's, to me, it's huge. I think that we all need to be sharing a little more of who we are, because then I find that we judge a lot less.
Yes. I agree. I totally agree. Because we can live so isolated, but yet we're community, but yet we're isolated. And
right.
No one really knows who we are, what we're about, and why not share the experiences? That's what this is all about. That's why, I started this radio show, wanted to share stories from people to people to help motivate and inspire. And that's what your book is going to do, too.
Aw, thank you. And it's so awesome, Teresa. I'll just share this a little bit because as you know, we talked about, I put the project on hold. So when I picked the project back up, and it was actually fairly recently that I did this, it's amazing all the little acknowledgments that I was getting. Like, I would just meet somebody and they'd be like, oh, I can't wait to read your book. And, or people from that would come forward and say, make comments about the book. And I'm like, it's sort of been shelved for a little while. I haven't really talked about it, but as soon as I brought it back into the light, the little nuances and things that were happening around me and around it, sort of, reinforcing that, hey, I really do need to do this. And
yeah.
Again, who am I to write a book? Well, I'm me, and it's special because it's mine.
Exactly, and you're a person with life experience, business experience, and a combination of both. and why
right.
not? We all have stories to tell. We all need to share them, and that's the beauty of this whole thing. And I expect an autographed copy.
I think I can arrange for that.
Oh, that's awesome! Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, Shelley,
I'm really excited.
Yeah, is there how close are you to being done?
I'm probably about at the halfway point.
Awesome.
So we've still got some work to put into that, but like I said, it's amazing where this story is taking me as well. The awesome part about this, and I know you've also wrote a book, and so you have a similar experience. But when I dive back into it, it's amazing just the feeling of pride and pure joy that you get, and how because up and down I'll go through my book and I'm like, oh, I'm actually re-inspired by words I wrote. So it sort of encourages me to keep going. It's awesome, I think, when that can happen, when you can inspire yourself and get to this place where, hey, oh yeah, I did do that, or oh, I remember that person. That was really awesome that they shared their time with me as well, because that's important to acknowledge those people in your life too.
Absolutely, and I found when I went back and reread some of the things I had written in my book, I was thinking to myself, who wrote that? Wow.
Yes.
Who did that? It's me.
Right, and it's so, what's so important, Teresa, is to take those moments to be proud of yourself and to be kind to yourself. I think that's ultimately one of the biggest things for me that's come out of my writing practice is, when you're going through stuff, we're not always kind to ourselves. But when I'm rereading it and I'm going through it, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, the things that you've done, you need to be proud. And so being kind to yourself and remembering to do that and to take care of yourself, and that you're worth it and you deserve, you deserve it, and you've got something to offer. Keeping all of that as a number one priority, I think, is such a big deal, such a huge thing to remember to do for yourself.
Absolutely, and it can be so energizing when you see the work you've done, reread the work you've done, feel the work you've done. Because when you were talking about that, I was getting shivers because, yeah, absolutely, because it's it's so moving to know that you can create something that's going to not only change your own life, but change someone else's.
That's just it. You've just, and really it's just, you're just sharing yourself. Don't you think that the world would be a much happier place if everyone got to live their dream?
Oh, I think so.
Think how much happier people would be if we just supported people with who they are and what they have to offer, and appreciated people just for what they are, and look at them and their story and say, hey, I can relate, or maybe I can't relate, but that is really cool about you. But instead, we kind of hide, and we're judging people, and we're judging, and we all do this, but we're judging based on our experiences. And so that's where we really need to stop and look at someone else's experience and acknowledge that, and maybe try to relate to that, because really, that's the only outlook that we can ever possibly have on life, is based on our own personal experiences.
Yeah,
and more that we share with each other.
Yeah, and don't criticize the other person based on your experiences, because it's so individualistic. I mean, what I do can't compare to what you do, and vice versa. We are individuals.
You know what, that is so true, and there's enough for everybody. I never understand this competition thing, and people, especially in business, talk about this all the time. And I'm like, why would I be worried about competition? I am who I am, and there's enough business out there. There's enough clients out there. There's enough people that are going to relate to me, and also my competitors. There's enough out there. I don't feel like I need to compete. All I need to do is be the best that I am, and trust that everything's going to work out okay.
Absolutely. And then you have less stress, less anxiety, less depression, everything else, because you're not busy comparing yourself to someone else. You're just being you.
And that is so true. And that's tough. That is really tough in the business world, because, of course, everybody's in business to make money. That's why we do it. But then as soon as you put that into, perspective, it's you get the competition and the competitive factor, and it's really hard as a business owner to take that stand down and say, you know what, I got to remember the reason I'm doing this. Yes, it is about the money, but really it's about the client or my customer. It's about that person in front of me and what I can do for them.
Yeah.
And so when you take money out of it, it really is all that matters. And that's where you bring the joy back to yourself as well. From your business or your writing or whatever it is that you're doing, it's what you're offering to other people. And so that's huge to kind of keep in mind. That's the whole purpose here. It's what you can offer.
Yeah, exactly. Shelley, is there one particular saying or quote that you feel is relevant to our topic today?
Well, here's one of my absolute favorite ones, and it's very relevant as well. But I got some very good advice early on in business, and here it is. She said to me, this is actually coming from my mortgage broker of all people, so you never know where this good advice is coming from.
You don't know.
You never know. This is right. You always got to be open to everybody. She said to me when I was having a hard day, she said, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. She says, don't quit today. Quit tomorrow.
Oh.
And I'm just like, wow. You're so wise. Because, of course, she's been through this. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to quit today. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to wait until tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow rolls around. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't quit today.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
So, it's tomorrow. It's just the quit tomorrow just never seems to arrive. So here we are, and I've accomplished so much since then. So I was very grateful to my mortgage broker that day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's fair. When you first mentioned that quote to me, I was like, wait a minute, I don't quite get it. But you know what? I get it, I understand it, and it makes total sense. Because, why worry about it? Tomorrow is tomorrow, today is today. Tomorrow will eventually become today. However, there's always a tomorrow. So keep going, right?
Right?
Keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. Just don't stop, and don't give up on yourself, because you don't know what you're able to accomplish, or you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So just keep the hope and keep the faith and just trust everything's going to be okay. And because if it's not okay, that just means that it's things are still in the works. They haven't sorted themselves out yet. Patience.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, trust yourself. Trust those that you're getting good, solid advice from, that you trust, like, your gut goes off. If you've got good connections, you can feel it's worthy and it's going to be helpful. But if it's setting your gut off in the wrong direction, run away screaming and don't go back.
And that's so true. Like, I think our bodies, like, if we could just listen to our bodies, they know, because our head, and I'm notorious for this, I will get so wrapped up in my thoughts in my head and trying to figure things out. But really, if I just stop, my body will let me know. My gut will let me know,
Mm-hmm.
And you're feeling stressed somewhere or something's not sitting right, your body will let you know.
Absolutely. And it's so key to listen. And that's been a hard lesson for me to learn all these years, is that, I need to stop, be still, not be quiet necessarily, but be still and listen.
Yeah, that's a significant difference. The difference between being still or being quiet is and isn't it the most difficult thing to do when you're like just going out of your mind crazy?
Yes. I'll be honest with you. It does take practice, and some days it just doesn't work.
And that's okay, but on those days then we need to remember to be kind to ourselves too, and not beat ourselves up, because you're always going to have bad days.
Right. And you know what? There's always tomorrow. Because,
there is always tomorrow.
Yeah. So, Shelley, this has been fantastic. I really have enjoyed chatting with you about following your dreams, facing your fears. This has been really good, and I think I'd like to have you back, if that's all right with you, when your book is ready. And
I would love to.
Yeah, we need to share that out, and because I have a feeling, and I've read a little bit about in the beginning.
Yes. Yes, you have.
It's going to be a pretty cool book. I like it.
Awesome. And I appreciate the support, Teresa. It really means the world.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You.
You're very welcome. So thanks for being such an awesome guest today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Teresa.
Yeah.
It's your pleasure to be here.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. That brings to a close another great interview and on Powering Through Life with and my words have got all messed up because I'm so excited about this one. So I'd like to thanks, Shelley.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yes, I'd like to thank my incredible guest, Shelley Essery, for sharing her thoughts and wisdoms about following your dreams and facing your fears.
Well, Divas, that brings to a close another great, inspiring interview on Powering Through Life. Thank you to my incredible guest for sharing your story with us. Divas, if you would like to connect with my guests, just go to divasthatcare.com, click on my picture at the top, that's Teresa Sims, and there you can access all of my interviews. Don't be shy, reach out if you have any questions, or simply just leave us a comment. Also, you can contact me at my website, that's teresasims.com. Thank you for listening to Powering Through Life on the Divas That Care Network.